Hi, thank you for tuning in. In this video, I'll explain you about deep thought, this role called uh, teaching, both front-end development teaching as well as ChatGPT teaching and data science teaching, three different roles we're looking at, and the selection process that we have for these roles. Firstly, Deep Thought is a very interesting organization. It started after work of one NGO called Science. So Science started off in 2011, and Science was born with a mission of converting every school and college into an MIT, Harvard kind of a research institution. So a little background for that. I went to this college called ICER, Indian Institute of Science Education and Research, Pune, rejected an admit at IIT Roorkee, and went to ICER because I wanted to be a scientist. So ICER was new back then. It started only in 2006. So I joined in 2009. So it was an exciting concept to bring PhD level research thinking down to college level, right? Undergraduate level, so that India can produce more individuals who can do high quality research. So many of my batchmates now have gone on to organizations like IIIT Hyderabad, IMSC, and have joined as faculty. So yeah, ICER concept is pretty exciting. So as a second year undergraduate student, I asked myself this question, ki, why can't we bring it down further from college level to school level? Because school children are born researchers. They have a lot of curiosity. They ask a lot of questions and so on. So why don't we work with, school students was a question I had. And that's how Science Session was born. So after about 9.5 years of being in the space, trying to understand how the education system of this country works, Deep Thought was born in 2020. And the idea was to build technology. Whatever research Science Session did, the idea was to build technology through which this entire mission can be replicated at scale, right? So when we raised the funding, we showed the videos of Science Session where school students were able to talk to CTOs, talk to CEOs, take business strategy topics and explain them at length. Many college students would probably struggle to have that kind of a deep conversation. We were able to, sort of replicate that. And then it didn't work out. So we moved away from school education space to what do I say, culture tech space, where because in this process of building the tech product, we were able to build a product with interns alone. Our CTO would spend hardly 6 hours per week, and interns built the entire platform. So quite a few of my friends running startups said, Tarun, why don't you do it for us as well? Because we could keep our costs low if we're able to get interns to, build the tech platform. It's good for the interns, they build a career, and it's good for us because we can keep our cost structures low. And in 2022, so 2020 Deep Thought started. We tried 2 years in the school education space. It was not working out. So in 2022, we started offering the services to startups, saying that we'll run your internship program. You pay us, we'll pay the stipend to the interns, and we also get our service fee, and we'll run this internship program. So where there's a certain mentoring that every intern goes through, right? At Deep Thought, and that mentoring fee is paid by a company. Now, this went fine, and then in 2023, we entered an engineering college, and there we did a pilot. Some things went well, some things didn't go well. But one fantastic piece was about 400 students, BTech first year students, were able to make their own projects using React and Node. So Node.js, which takes several months for people to learn. Some diploma students in this college were able to learn it in just 2 to 3 days and also build a project and present it. So I think in the video description, I'll include a link to a newsletter. If you read that newsletter, you will get the details of the projects that the students did and so on. So this is the story of Deep Thought so far. Now Deep Thought is launching courses for students across the country. It's a very unique kind of a course we are doing where, see, generally in courses, what happens is you learn the theory first and you do your project at the end. So in the Deep Thought course, what happens is it starts with a project where in the beginning of the course, the students would take a problem statement, come up with a solution for their problem statement. And then while building the project, they'll end up learning. Because what we've noticed is when a student takes a project, right, the interest levels are very high as opposed to just sitting in a class, listening to a lecture and so on. So it's a completely project-based learning course that we have come up with. And we're trying to introduce students to competitive programming. See, DSA problems, right? Being able to solve DSA problems is super important to be a good engineer, at least in the IT space. But many students get scared of programming, right? They give up on programming very early. So we use something called Socratic approach, where through a series of questions, the students can understand concepts from the depth. One of our students' parents, Ms. Shivrani, she said, these students are now talking like PhD professors. They're explaining with so much of clarity that even a non-technical person like me is able to understand. So that's, I think, the power of Socratic questioning. Then we use something called Feynman technique. Feynman was one of the atomic bomb physicists. He came up with a method through which, he said, if you can't explain something to a 5-year-old, it means you yourself don't understand it. So it's combination of Socratic questioning and Feynman technique, I think people were really able to understand concepts, really well. So that's how I think in our course, we're starting with a project. Then we are making DSA more fun through Socratic questioning, Feynman technique, and we're trying to fuse DSA with stand-up comedy. DSA with stand-up comedy. Like, we're encouraging students to write funny comments on the right side, because when you learn to write funny comments, I think you start understanding the code, you start understanding the syntax, and the code appears more human to you. It doesn't appear like some technical, complicated wiring which is out there, appears more accessible, appears something that I can go play with, do something with it. So we're trying to do that with DSA. And we're also including a lot of psychology oriented content in the course. We're including a lot of psychology content in the course. The idea behind including this psychology content, like emotional intelligence, how your mind works, and all of that is, I think, see, Indian students are very suppressed and oppressed at multiple levels, because of the conditioning, because of the pressure that students go through. So the genuine passion or the joy for learning is lost. So we believe that these psychology drills can bring back that childhood, can rekindle that passion. And I believe to be a very good engineer, this passion and this personality traits are very important. See, I mean, let me put it in a simple way. I'm happy that you came this far in this video. Many of the people would have closed the video by now. So then I think it makes sense for me to speak to you. Now, in deep thought selection process, right? I mean, we take them through multiple rounds. A lot of people get eliminated in the rounds. And at the end of the round, we check if the person is genuinely passionate or not. We don't care about skills. As long as the person is passionate, we hire the person for the role. Now, question is, why is it that 99% of the candidates are getting rejected? I mean, there are many clients of Deep Thought who are hiring people as interns. Now, Deep Thought goes and posts an internship in different platforms. We filter them and hire them. Most of them are not fit for the internship because they don't have a passion. Why are they doing an internship? Because somebody said, go get a certificate. Somebody said, if you get experience, you'll get a job. They're doing it for some external motivation, not for internal curiosity. Not like a Baba Ranchod Das in Three Idiots, right? I want to do it. I want to build this and it'll be fun to build it. Because if someone has to be hired as a remote intern for 4 hours a day, 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock are the timings. If someone has to be hired for that, the person will find it very difficult to stay motivated to balance college and internship and do it well, unless there's that inner drive. So the point I'm trying to tell is it's very important for us to bring that passion in students. So we're building a psychology curriculum as well. We have a React and Node curriculum. We're building the DSA curriculum. We're building the psychology curriculum as well. And this is as far as React and Node is concerned. Then Chat GPT also, we want to come up with some nice courses, because today, I think the world is at your fingertips through generative AI. You want to learn something, as long as you can ask the right questions, you can play with generative AI. You can have generative AI as your thought partner, right? As your thought partner. So we're trying to come up with some very interesting courses of how you can use generative AI. And again, the idea is this course will not be Gyan. This course would be a series of challenges followed by reflection. Challenges followed by reflection. So I think one way where Deep Thought is radically different from other programs out there is Deep Thought has a huge blend of psychology and philosophy in the course. Other courses are more transactional. It's just about what information you get. But Deep Thought is a lot more about how you are able to internalize. I think by the time you complete the selection process, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Because when you do all these activities, you realize it feels as though something, the ideas are hitting your brain very hard, right? That's the process that we sort of follow. So we're looking to hire passionate youngsters who are interested in curriculum development and being a teaching assistant. And over a period, you learn how to teach, you learn the concepts really well. You never know, you could be a teacher itself, not just a teaching assistant. We're trying to do data science, Stack, and ChatGPT. I think if you're hired as an intern with us, you'd learn how to teach, you'd learn philosophy of education, how the mind works, how learning really takes place, and You'll help us in building a very effective curriculum through which anybody, even those who do not have a good maths background, will be able to learn data science, will be able to learn one stack development, will be able to do prompt engineering and so on. So you'll get to do very impactful stuff because you'll get to change how Indian youngsters learn. And more importantly, it's about igniting that passion in them, right? To make them come out of that social conditioning and do something because they're passionate about it. So that's what this role is about. In case you're not interested in teaching, you're not interested in curriculum development, don't take it up. But if you don't mind spending 6 months, it's a 6 months commitment, 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock, Monday to Saturday, super rigorous. 5 to 9, you're expected to be on the Zoom link with your video on. Super rigorous, makes sense only if you're truly passionate. Then you can take it up. But yeah, by the time you complete this internship, you can be assured of an all-round personality transformation within yourself. So the round one Google form link, I believe, is given to you through Internshala. You can follow that link, answer the questions. You'll have very interesting questions there. 5 situational questions of how you get people to learn. Then 5 questions more around your personality. Then round two, you'll be given 2 videos, one of our CTO, Mr. Hariharan Anand, around the philosophy of learning. Then Professor Jim Collins around value system and why it's important to have a value system if you want to grow in your career. And round three, you'll be asked to write a reflection. That's where this power, which I was talking of, you'll experience it. And then you'll be, if you clear all these rounds, you'll be invited to join Deep Thought for 3 days. You get to spend 3 days with us to understand how we function, to meet us. And at the end of 3 days, in case we like you, you like us, you feel this is something you want to be doing over the next 6 months, we'll roll out the joining letter and we'll be more than happy to have you in our team. So that's how this process actually works. And there are a lot of links and literature given to you. Do check them out, do explore. That'll help you understand what this company is about, what the vision is. And should you find this exciting, go ahead, apply, and I hope you clear all the rounds and looking forward to a conversation with you very soon. Thank you for listening to me patiently, and I wish you all the very best.